Well, I have a little bit of breaking news for you. Last night, Tesla did indeed make changes to pricing. And it's a little interesting because we just had a significant drop in prices from Tesla as we came into 2023. Now, of course, that was all due to the Inflation Reduction Act of 2023, which stipulates new MSRP caps on EVs in order to qualify for that up to $7,500 tax credit. As you know, after the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 was passed, a lot of electric vehicles started to have issues being sold. Tesla is no exception to this. Rather than take delivery of a car as we get closer to the end of 2022, people started delaying their orders till January so that way they could get that $7,500 tax credit. Makes it very hard to sell an electric car when they could just wait and get 7,500 bucks off. Of course, Tesla tried to combat this. At first, they offered $3,750 off. Then they added 10,000 supercharging miles for 2 years. Then they upped the number to $7,500. Then they offered 7,500 plus 10,000 miles for 2 years for all Teslas, including the Model S and the Model X. Now, we were watching inventory absolutely climbing day by day until the $7,500 offer. That's when things started going down really fast. And at the end of the year, there were very few Model Ys and Model 3s left in inventory across the US. January 1st came around and we got some information from the IRS about what they believe does and does not qualify for these tax credits. They released a whole list of MSRP caps based on vehicle and trim. So at this point, there was only one question left. What is Tesla going to do about this? And after all those different incentives that they offered at the end of the year, as we turned into the new year, Tesla made a drastic change in prices. Prices went down across the board. The Model 3, the Model Y, the Model S, the Model X, these were substantial decreases in prices. These weren't just a couple $1,000s. It was $13,000, $10,000, a ton of money off different trims depending on which car it was. These new prices were critical because with these new rules in the Inflation Reduction Act, Tesla would not qualify unless they did something drastic like what they did at the beginning of the year. Now, although this was important, there's a time period here at the beginning where rules are a little bit different. That $7,500 was a combination of two different rules as part of the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. Now, these new rules do impact all Teslas, and after Tesla's major decreases, all Tesla Model 3s will qualify for the up to 7,500. And the Tesla Model Y, if it's in a 5-seat configuration, the long range will qualify, but the performance will not qualify. And then of course, if it does have the 7-seat configuration, you have up to 80,000 MSRP cap. Now at Tesla, a lot of things change because of this, and it's for the better for consumers. I know a lot of people did get burned by having a much more expensive car than it is today, myself included, but this is a good thing as we look to advance EV adoption in the United States. So essentially, from now until March, every EV that's assembled in North America that has at least a 5 kilowatt hour battery pack will qualify for the full $7,500 tax credit, assuming your income does qualify. This is because the Secretary has not given guidance on the two rules that break that $7,500 tax credit into two pieces, $3,750 for the battery critical minerals and $3,750 for the battery components being assembled in North America. So Tesla responded by reducing the long-range Model Y to $52,990. This gives you up to $2,000 to put in options in the car and still qualify under that 55,000 MSRP cap. Now, last night they did make a change to that. Prices went up $500, and it's very unusual because there were no other price changes at Tesla. So the Model 3 long range, standard range, and performance all stayed the same. The Model Y performance also did not change. So the long range is the only one that's impacted here, and it went up by $500. Now, why is this? Well, I think it has something to do with margin. I think that Tesla, although they started to see an influx of orders for the Model Y, they probably reduced prices just slightly more than they had meant to achieve certain margin levels that they are trying to achieve. So increasing the price $500 apparently is going to satisfy Tesla, at least in the short term. Now, if this is strictly just demand, then we will see prices continue to increase throughout the year, but it probably won't increase above and beyond $54,990 because at that point, it will not qualify for the tax credits. The only issue with this $500 increase is now instead of $2,000 in options, you can only spend $1,500. So you cannot put the induction wheels on a long-range Model Y with a 5-seat configuration. You will over exceed the MSRP cap. You can put a $1,000 paint option, or you can put a $1,000 tow hitch, or you can put a $1,000 white interior. You get where I'm going with this. You are limited to one option and you cannot get a red Model Y. So although this was only a $500 change, the implications are rather large. So there's a lot of things that you now have to consider when making an order for a long-range Model Y. Again, performance will not qualify. Get whatever you like. And also, if you get the 7-seat, you can put whatever options you want on there as long as you stay under that $80,000 MSRP cap. So this $55,000 MSRP cap, of course, is a challenge for consumers who are interested in a Model Y long range. If you don't get that 7-seat configuration, you are very limited on what options you can get. To upgrade to that 7-seat configuration, Tesla did update those prices as well. It's now $1,000 more. So by adding $4,000 option of 7-seat, you will increase your MSRP cap by $25,000, meaning you can add whatever options you want. Do keep in mind that third row is not ideal for most people. It's going to be for children only. I have a 7-passenger and we use it from time to time and it's convenient to have. The nice thing about the third row is you're not sacrificing much. As a matter of fact, there's this small little sub compartment underneath where those 2 seats go that most people don't even realize are there. Your sub trunk is basically the same. So that's the only little bit of space you're giving up just by having the flexibility of having those 2 seats in the back, making it a true 7-passenger vehicle. In addition, the other benefit that you gain from this is the second row now moves, so you can move those seats forward or back, giving you a little bit more flexibility in your cargo space in the back of this car. Other than that, it is entirely the same. So it's something to really consider if you're willing to spend the extra $4,000 to get exactly the configuration that you are most interested in. So that's really not the best news, especially since we're talking days after the changes in pricing at Tesla. But like previously, we'll keep an eye on this and report out any additional changes in price that we see throughout this year. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel as we continue to post content regularly. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Bearded Tesla. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.